Welcome into the KingsCourt, the podcast for gamers, and I'm here with the legend, Joey Caps. Hey, Mr. Joey Caps, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, King. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being with me.
Of course, anytime, all the time. I didn't know what else I could say to that, so there you go.
Well, I always appreciate you being here, and we are going to talk about Bethesda, of course. We will talk about other things at times, but it being E3, I want to talk about the future of Bethesda, and that will lead into a little bit of what's going on with E3. But I want to see what you think about Bethesda's future and if they're going to continue to grow. And when I talk about Bethesda, I'm talking about ZeniMax, Bethesda Softworks, all of Bethesda, not just Bethesda Game Studios. Do you think they are going to grow in the future, or do you think they are going to start reducing in size, or do you think they're about the size that they want to be? And there's a reason I'm asking, and I didn't mean to cut you off because I know you was about to give me a great answer right there. The reason I'm asking is, if you've noticed, there's a lot of changes going on in gaming right now. It seems that gaming's going the way of the Fortnites and the microtransactions and all this, and you see a little bit of that coming into Bethesda. So, do you think Bethesda is going to continue to grow, or are they going to reduce in size?
I don't think they're going to reduce. I think you have games like, you've hit on it prior, they have games like Prey and Wolfenstein that really haven't sold as well as they would like, because they're solely single-player games. And there is a market for that, of course, but there's a even larger market for multiplayer, and with 76, you already see them trying to do that. You saw with Elder Scrolls Online them trying to do that, but I'm not saying just an exclusively online game. They don't have to go that route, but they might need, they probably do need to start adding multiplayer aspects to their single-player games. For example, there's a game, Gears of War. It's one of my favorites. There's a single-player campaign, but there's also a multiplayer. You know, like it's important. You know, it's very important to cater to both audiences. Imagine Wolfenstein with some sort of multiplayer in it. That'd be really fun.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Prey, and I'm glad you brought up Arcane, because there are rumors about Arcane making a new IP that is at least some multiplayer. Yeah. And the reason is because Prey, even though it was a critical success, I mean, it was a huge success critically. Critics love the game. And if you've ever played Prey, it is a beautiful game. The story is wonderful. Great game. But it didn't sell at all.
No. It didn't.
So ZeniMax, the corporation, of course, that owns Bethesda, put pressure on that, hey, we've got to do something. And, of course, the trend of the day is the multiplayer, the microtransactions. That's where the money is. So the rumors are, and we see from job listings, that they are working on this new IP that has multiplayer.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I don't have any issues, no qualms whatsoever. It's completely okay. Just don't lose sight in who you are. I think the reason why they would continue to grow, I think they're an okay size right now. I don't think they need to downsize at all. I think they're fine. But the only reason why they would grow at all would be to bring people in who are familiar with the multiplayer side of games. That's the reason why they would bring people in. That's just my opinion. But I don't think they would ever really downsize. I think they're honestly at a perfect where they're at right now. They're completely fine. But it'll be very interesting to see, because it's not like they're trying to pump out, you know, Dishonored, Prey, Evil Within, Doom, like at once. They take time You know, like with Dishonored and they take time in between games. They don't try and push out as much as possible. You know what I'm saying?
They're not EA yet.
Yeah, I don't think they ever will be, and I know people might disagree. I don't think they will ever be EA. Listen, you as a business, am I for microtransactions? No, it's an awful thing. People have mental health issues when it comes, to impulse buying for microtransaction stuff in video games. Like it's an issue. It really is. But from a business, it's a way to make money. That's just like,
it works. Yeah.
For example, on YouTube, it's like, okay, I love this YouTube. It's like, I love KingFanMan. I would like to buy one of his shirts. And it's like, boom, okay, I'm going to buy a shirt. Versus, in 76, it's like, okay, I love this game, but I love that skin that's for sale on the Atom Shop. Let's go get it. Bam, I'm going to go get it. So it's, I do understand why, the purpose that microtransactions serve, and as a developer, you kind of have to go in that route where you could make money. That's just, it's a business at the end of the day. It's a business, but they need to also stay true to who they are. And I don't think they will ever be EA. I think a lot has happened in this past year to where they would stop themselves from ever getting to that point.
I'm with you. As long as they keep the single player aspect, like the new Wolfenstein is a co-op game. Yeah. I am fine with that. I think that's a great idea, adding that co-op aspect. If the new Arcane game, as I said in my E3 video, if the Arcane game is a single-player game with a multiplayer aspect to it or a mode to it, that's fine. I'm good with that. But now I don't want Arcane going to an MMO. That's not what they are. That's not who they are. But really, the subject that we're talking about today on this podcast, if you look back over the last 5 years, ZeniMax has grown in a huge way. Just think 5 years ago how big ZeniMax was compared to where they are today.
Yeah.
Even just take BGS, for example. They've gone from 1 studio now to 5 studios. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's what happens when you make almost $1 billion for one title.
Yeah, for one game. That's right.
Within 24 hours, and then everybody buys Skyrim.
Yeah,
like it fuels everything else.
Or you make Fallout Shelter. The game that's made more money than any other game they've ever made. Did you know that?
Yeah.
We've talked about that before.
They made how much? Like $100 million?
It's a bunch. I forget
on microtransactions or something. That's insane.
Off that game.
That's crazy, and it's a free game.
Which again, we're going to have a whole show on microtransactions, I guess.
Yeah.
But with that thought on this, and my real question was to you. Do you think, not just BGS, do you think they're in the market for other studios? Because there for a while, they bought Machine Games, they bought Arcane, it seems like they bought Tango Gameworks. They were just acquiring studio after studio after studio. I really thought they were going to get the studio that helped them with Rage this year. And I just went blank. Avalanche, because Avalanche actually was for sale, but of course they sold to someone else. Do you think ZeniMax could possibly continue to grow?
I gotta be honest with you here. So let's break it down a little bit here, King. What you said earlier, Prey, great game, didn't sell. Okay. Wolfenstein 2, great game.
Another critically great game. Game of the year, action game of the year. That's right. Yep.
Didn't sell.
Yep.
However, I'm going to bring it up, and I hate to constantly do it, but you have games like Fallout 4 that sell a lot. Skyrim sell a lot. you have these games. So in my opinion, I don't think they should put their resources in anything right now, because I think they're fine in those things. I don't think they if they're going to add any more resources, it should be in BGS. That's what they should do. And I know Todd Howard doesn't want to rush anything out, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't rush anything out. That's not what I'm saying. But when you're a business, and if you want to make the most money, where are you making money? You're making money through BGS. That's where you're making your money.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. That one of the things that they've done, they've added Montreal, which is a mobile game studio that made the game that has made more money than any other. We've just got to settle on that for just a minute. Fallout Shelter has made more money than any other game they've ever made. That's just crazy. Of course, they've also made Blades, which is a controversial game right now. But again, those are money-making games. Those mobile games are money-making games.
Yeah.
Austin is with 76. They're hoping it's going to be a money-making game. They've also added Dallas, which is their VR studio. A lot of VR titles are coming out of there. Of course, we've got Skyrim VR. How much money are those titles going to make? So BGS in and of itself has grown a lot, and they're making money off of those extra projects as well.
I just feel if you're gonna add through anything, you gotta keep feeding your cash cow. Feed it more cash, man. Just feed it. I don't know if that's how that expression goes.
Well, and I think that's why the last two studios they've added have been BGS studios.
Yeah, like you gotta. If you could add 10 studios, if you can add onto Bethesda Maryland to try and push out, games, let's say a little quicker, or just put more TLC into those said games. But, if it's going to take you 4 years to make a title, and if you could put more people on there to, let's say, make a better product, why wouldn't you do that?
This would probably be a different podcast subject, but as long as Todd Howard is the game director, I don't think that will ever happen. In other words, and he just did an interview, and me and you were going through that interview. Yeah. He wants the games to come out slow.
Yeah.
He don't want them to come out any faster.
He doesn't. Yeah, because he gave a great example with Oblivion. They initially wanted Oblivion to come out within a year or two. And he told them, he was like, no, that's not how this goes. He was like, I want to take 4 years to make a title, and I want it to be next gen. That's what he said. He said 4 years, next gen, and they did it. Oblivion's born.
Yep.
So it's like, and that's fine. That's perfectly okay. If you're going to take 3 to 4 years on every game, I don't care, as long as the game is good. But what I'm saying is add more assets to that game. Now, you could also say too many, people trying to, think of, stories and mechanics onto one game. That might be a lot, but I just feel if they're going to invest any money, BGS is the way to go. Even this, there's a demand for remastered games. There's a demand for it.
Yes.
Morrowind, Oblivion, the Fallouts, even the original Fallouts. People have said, hey, I want to see, Fallout 1 in a 3D world.
So buy a studio that does remasters.
Buy a studio that just does that. And you can make a ton of money off of a Fallout 1 remastered, Fallout 2, Tactics. You can make money from that. And then 3, New Vegas. And then you put that studio to something else. Or by that time, you could remaster Fallout 4 by that time.
They just need to hire us at ZeniMax. That's what it is.
No, but seriously, hire a studio just for remasters. You could do that. You could. Yes. You make enough money to do so. Just keep feeding it to BGS. That's the one thing I would do. Other than that, I feel they're okay, because with Dishonored, that's on
But
That's not being worked on right now.
but
They're
now
trying to.
but now remember, Joe, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's fine.
Bethesda is a publisher. So
Yeah.
wouldn't it be better the more good games that they could publish in a year, the better?
Yes, but we're gonna come back to this. Like what I said earlier, it just comes down to what brings in money. Did Prey and Wolfenstein 2? They were great games, just didn't draw.
Okay, well, let me give you a wild example. What if there is a studio that works on sports games? What if there's a studio that works on racing games? I mean, something that Bethesda's not done in a long time. I was about to say that they've never done, but they used to work on racing games a long time ago, and they used to work on sports games. Yeah, hockey games.
Yeah.
What if there's something out there that another studio does real well that actually sells, that there's actually a niche for?
They got to do it right.
Yeah.
I know because I'm a huge sports gaming fan, there's a high demand for a better football game.
Mm-hmm.
Madden has been its thing, and so there's a high demand in that. So would Bethesda
something better than EA,
Yeah, do something like that, and you could bring in, let's hire a studio or hire people that worked on NFL 2K5, which is acclaimed as the best football game of all time.
Right.
So you could do those things, which I wouldn't be opposed, but it's the matter of this: will it draw? Will it bring in the money? I'm a big wrestling fan. And I'll try and spit this analogy out. Now, I'm sorry if it bores you, King, but just bear with me here. So you have great performers on the show, all right? Let's say 6 performers, great performers. They do what they have to do. They get the job done. The crowd's going nuts. However, that was, let's say, the appetizer to the dessert, to what they or the dinner, the full course meal, to what they wanted to see. And at the end of the day, they want to see that moneymaker, that cash cow, Hulk Hogan. They want to see a John Cena, The Rock. That's who they want to see at the end of the day. Everything else is okay. It's good, but that's not what draws the money.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan draws the money. The Rock draws the money. John Cena, Stone Cold Steve. Well, those guys draw the money. So the fact of the matter is am I opposed to more Bethesda games? No, of course not, because honestly, even though I haven't played through all of them fully, I have played them. Like I have, and they're all good. I found myself enjoying them. They're all good in their own right. It's just, will it make money?
Right.
That's it.
And I mean, that's the proper question. But maybe I should have asked it this way. What do you think is ZeniMax's ultimate business plan? And my argument would be, before Prey and Wolfenstein and some of those games fell flat, I believe it was to build a gaming empire to rival EA. I believe they were working on that. Any company that were acquiring studios that quick, I think they were working on that.
If you want to rival with EA, you have to attack them where I feel you have to attack their strength, and sadly their strength is sports, and that sports game is Madden. They have monopolized that genre. So if you want to attack a studio, I think you should go in that route. Try and get people that have done sports games in the past. I think that would be incredibly cool, because a good football game is in demand. It really is. People want it. They're sick of Madden. They're sick of the crud that EA has been putting out for Madden. And it's not just going on playing a sports game and playing a game 4 quarters and that's it. No, it's not that. It's team management, hiring a coaching staff, which
Right.
Madden took out years ago. Yep. Scouting.
I used to love the NCAA football.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that game.
EA dumbed down Madden so much. A 5-year-old, pick up a controller and play Madden and be completely okay and build a championship team. It's just that's what's in demand. If you want to rival with a studio like EA, attack it. Bring in a studio that could make a sports game. I would be in heaven if Bethesda ever decided to do something like that. I would be in heaven. That would be amazing, but they have to acquire the license from the NFL, and they have to do all that fun stuff. But they need, if they want to attack certain studios, I feel they need to be unique and do something that they haven't done before.
Right.
Or haven't done in years, and sports is something that would be very interesting. Because think about this, okay? If people want a football game and Bethesda hits it out of the park, they do a great job. It's realistic gameplay. The management in the game of running a team is flawless. Let's say they do all the correct things, and let's say RPG is so big in sports games now too. What if they added that into a sports game to rival with Madden?
Right.
So many people would be hopping over because Madden's so dumbed down.
Yep.
So I'm sorry I went off a little bit.
No, that's fine.
But I could see that personally. I really could. I could see it.
To show you how finicky or fickle this business is, ZeniMax, as powerful as they've become and as fast as they were growing, in 2017 Bethesda was the publisher of the year. They beat out, and I've told you this before, they beat out Nintendo, they beat out EA, they beat out everybody. They beat out all the big ones in 2017. That's a huge accomplishment.
Enormous. Yeah.
But that was also the year, and those were the games, Prey and Wolfenstein, all those critically acclaimed great games. But those were also the games that killed them because the sales just went and they were awful.
They didn't go anywhere.
They didn't go anywhere. And then not only did that hurt them, then all this fiasco with Fallout 76, how the tables have turned on Bethesda as a whole. You look how quickly a company can go down, and I mean they can go down quick and hard, and that's what's happened to Bethesda in just 2 years.
That's crazy.
Yep.
It's absolutely insane. But like I've said,
and look, they quit buying companies too. They were buying companies as quick as they could, and now they've stopped.
I think they're at a perfect spot. I don't think there's anything else that they need unless they want to attack a new genre. That's about it. If they don't want to attack a new genre, if they don't want to go to sports or do something else, then I don't think it's worth expanding.
Well,
that's just me.
I think they have a plan. I think they have a much bigger plan, but they're going to have to wait until they start winning again.
Yeah.
And right now is not the time. They're definitely in a down cycle right now with everything that's happened to them.
They will start winning when they announce private servers and mod support for 76 and then Starfield. That's when things will start going up.
Yeah, we very much hope so. Absolutely. Yeah. I am anxious to see what the future of Bethesda holds. This E3, I think, could be a turning point as well with some of the games that are announced and some of the surprises that are announced this year. Very quickly, I know we're running out of time. Very quickly, what's your what can we call it? Surprise. What do you think might be the surprise on Bethesda's stage this year? Do you think there's going to be a shocker?
Starfield. I think a release date or a big hint towards Starfield.
Oh,
I think, awesome. Or either a remastered, a Fallout 3 remastered, because like I've said before, I feel they need to cater to a certain fan base right now. They need to save face a little bit, and everybody wants a remastered. Yeah. And I just feel it could be a love letter to their fans that, hey, listen, we're sorry we can't make a brand new Fallout game anytime soon, but here is a game that you fell in love with and we love too, and it's remastered.
Yes.
You know, here you go. So I could see something that would be a huge surprise for me.
It wouldn't be as good as a remaster. I would love a Switch port. Wouldn't be quite as good as a remaster,
oh my
but
God,
I would love.
give me the Switch port.
Yeah, Fallout 3, Oblivion.
Todd Howard even said, he mentioned with the Switch in that interview recently, the IGN interview, he mentioned that they would like to make more games for the Switch. Okay, if you made Skyrim, like we've said in the past, for the Switch, why can't you make Fallout 3 for it?
Yeah, but it being the 25th anniversary of the Elder Scrolls, could they?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to do something.
Oblivion, Morrowind, who knows?
Yep, for the Switch. Well, Joe, thank you for being on the KingsCourt again, as always. I love you, brother. Thank you for being a part of this. You are my brother. You're my brother in Christ. You're my friend, and I'll have you on again soon.
Thank you so much, man. I love you too. Honestly, it's been a blessing. Many more of these in the future, and I hope we hit 2,000 together. Let's see where that goes. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely. Y'all make sure and go check out Joey Cap's channel. Go subscribe to him. Go watch his videos twice. All of them twice, and like them. That's right.
You better, people.
That's right. We will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.